Alright, so starting with the first page, questions that we want to see, go over, have questions about on that first page. Okay. So all of these, you have to find the slope and find the y-intercept. Your y-intercept is probably easier to find than the slope. I don't know if that was better or worse. Scene-wise. So our y-intercept is at positive 1. Our slope points, you have to find another point that crosses the grid lines exactly. I would look at the end points where the arrows are and count those. So then our slope, we're going up 2 to the left 5. And then you would put those together in your equation. Y equals negative 2 over 5x plus 1. Cameron. Number 2, y-intercept. It's kind of hard to see, but where the arrow stops, I would put that as your y-intercept, so negative 5. And then another point that crosses the grid lines exactly would be up here. So if we counted that slope, what would that be? So our equation would be negative 8x minus 5. Others on this page? Remember that if you have horizontal or vertical lines, use your bucks. That will help you. And also remember, you're not looking for slope, but the equation of the line. Go on to the next page. Questions on this page we want to see, go over. Maybe we didn't want to check. Lily? 8, yes. So for 8 through the rest of that section, you're given a point and a slope. You have to use your point-slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Where your slope is m, and the point given is your x1, y1. And then you would put all of those into your format. So y minus y1 is 2 equals negative 3 over 2 times x minus negative 2. You have this. Okay. Because we have minus minus, that's going to become a plus. You can either do that right away or do it next, but you cannot distribute until you have done that. Then we could distribute. We have negative 3 over 2x minus 3 and add 2 to both sides. So our equation would be y equals negative 3 over 2x minus 1. Other questions on this page? Cameron? Mm-hmm. So 9, same process. So we have y minus 0 equals negative 1/2 times x minus a negative 4, or plus, either or. This is going to become just y. And then you have to distribute. So y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2 would be your final answer. On the next page, just the top section for now. Do we have questions in 10 through 12? Nathan. 12. And then I'm going to have you add something in the blank space in a second. So with 12, we have to remember what type of equation would give us this. So because it's undefined, that's going to be an x equals. Look at your x value in your ordered pair, and that would be your equation. There's really no work for you to do in these type of problems. Now, if the slope was 0, you could use your point slope formula, but you don't have to. Questions on that? Right here, add this in through the point 0, 1/2, where your slope is 1/2. Do you remember what's special about this ordered pair? Nothing.
You basically just disregard it.
Not disregard it. We need it for something. That's the one I was on. So because we're given the line and stuff, we don't have to do the work. You could, but you don't have to. So anytime you have an ordered pair and 0 is your x, you have your y-intercept. Questions on that one? In the bottom section, questions we have on there. Matthew. 14. Cameron. And then I'm going to have you add one more thing. Okay. What is the first thing we need to do for these? Find the slope. So label them if you need to. And this would be negative 5 minus negative 4 over 2 minus 4. This would, simplify to be negative 5 plus 4, so negative 1, and 2 minus 4 over negative 2, so positive 1/2. Are we given our y-intercept here with our points? No, so we have to actually do the work. Does not matter which point you choose. You don't have to do both, and if you want to check yourself, you can do the other. Let's say I chose this first one. So we have y minus negative 4 equals positive 1/2 times x minus 4. Minus minus would become a plus. And then we could distribute. And then subtract 4 to both sides. So y equals 1/2 x minus 6 would be our equation for that. Questions on that? process for 16. Find our slope first. We have 0 minus a negative 5 over 0 minus 4. That would give us a positive 5 in the numerator, but a negative 4 in the denominator. Do we have our y-intercept for this one? Yes. What is it? 0. So y equals negative 5 over 4x plus 0, or just y equals negative 5 over 4x. Questions on that one? And then the one you're going to add in the open space is through the points 0, 7 and 1, negative 1/2, 1. Let's find our slope first. So 1 minus 7 over negative 1/2 minus 0. We have negative 6 over negative 1/2. And you can either do this by hand or in the calculator. So by hand, we would take this denominator and flip it and multiply it to both pieces. In your calculator, you would do alpha y equals, and then go down to the denominator and do it again. But positive 12 should have been your slope. Are we given our y-intercept here? Yes. What is it? 7. So then y equals 12x plus 7. So always be on the lookout. If you're given your y-intercept, don't do extra work. But if you're not, make sure you are doing your work. Other questions on this page? If not, go on to the next one. What questions do we have on this page? Lily, Matthew, 22, 21. That kind of covers like each type, except for the perpendicular with the symmetry. Okay. For 18, we have to solve this one first. So get rid of your x term, move it to the other side by subtracting. We have negative 2y equals negative 5x plus 18. Divide everything by negative 2. So that y equals positive 5 over 2x minus 9. Of the answer choices, which one is parallel to the equation we just found, Nature? These have the same slope and different y-intercepts. Questions on that one? #21 asks us to determine, are these parallel, perpendicular, or neither? So we have to solve them if they're not in slope-intercept form. So let's do that for A. Get rid of your x on both by subtracting it to the other side. So we have y equals negative x plus 5 and y equals negative x minus 10. Are those parallel, perpendicular, or neither, Matthew?
Parallel.
Parallel. How do we know that?
It's the same slope, different lines.
Correct. So I'm just putting the symbol. If you want to write out parallel, that's fine. These equations are solved for us. Are those parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Parallel. For the same reason. Same slope, different y-intercept. For C, just like A, we have to solve those equations. So get rid of your x term on both by subtracting. So for one, you're going to be dividing by negative 8, the other by negative 6. I'm going to write these down here. I'm running out of space. You have y equals positive 3/8 minus 11/8. And y equals 1/2, positive 1/2, x minus 5/3. Are those parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Say it louder. Neither. The slopes aren't the same. They don't have negative reciprocals. Those are neither. Okay. And then 22 is asking us to find the value of A, so we just have to think a little bit. One, we have to solve this equation. So divide both sides by 2. And we need to know what value of A would be perpendicular to the one we just found. What would the slope have to be if it's perpendicular to this one? Negative 2/3. So A equals negative 2/3. Other questions on this one? Next page. So these are very similar to the ones we just did. The only different one is 15, where it has a 0 slope. So if you want to see that one, we'll do that. If not, move on to the next page. So you can do this one of two ways, one without work and one with work. I'll show both. If we have a slope that is 0, that means it has to be a y equals, so this is the no work one. If it's a y equals, look at your y value and write that equation. The one with work would be you doing your point slope. So y minus negative 2 equals 0 times x minus 1. So we have y plus 2 equals, this whole thing becomes 0, and we subtract 2 on both sides. So if you know it without the work, you could do that. If you would rather do it with the work, that's fine. But with slopes undefined, you cannot do work with that one. On the next page. Some of these questions are the same as 2 pages ago. These 1 through 11, these jump weird numbers. These first 2 sections were on that last page, and this last section was on that last page. You can cross out the ignore. So if you have questions on 15, 17, 19, or 20, we can go through those. Just wait. Which one? 15. Okay. I know it's a little hard to read also because it's blurry. It says find an equation that passes through each given point and is parallel to the line with the given equation. So here we have an equation. If we have to find a new one, what would that slope be if it's parallel? Oh, and this equation says y equals 2x minus 4. You can't see that. What would the slope of our new line be? 2. Just 2. So then you would use that slope, that point, and use your point slope. Move that off to the side here. So y minus 2 equals 2 times x minus 4. We don't have any minus minuses, so you can just distribute. And then add 2 to both sides. So these 2 equations would be parallel. They have the same slope and different y-intercepts. Other ones on this page. Lily. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this just in case you can't see it. It says 1/2 and 1/3, that's the point, and your equation x plus 2y equals 5. So we have to solve this first. Get rid of x. Divide everything by 2. And then use that to do our point slope formula. Ignore the 5/2, we don't need that. So we'd have y minus 1/3 equals negative 1/2 would be our new slope. Times x minus 1/2. Okay, we'll finish this real quickly and then it'll be passed out. So distribute. And then add that to the other side. If you added 1/4 and 1/3 together, if you haven't already, in your calculators, add 1/3, 1/4. Tell me what you get. Yes. And then let's go on to the next page because there'll be more questions like that. Any questions we want to see, go over on this page? None on this page. Look at the very last page. Nature. 8 on the very last page. So this, we need to find an equation that's perpendicular to this one, but we have to solve this one first. So get rid of 6x, subtract it to the other side. And divide everything by 3. We have y equals negative 2x minus 3. If we're trying to find our new equation that's perpendicular to that one, what will our new slope be? Look at the slope, flip it, make it positive.
Oh,
What would that new slope be? Nature. Positive 1/2. Take that and your point and use point slope. So y minus 2 equals 1/2 times x minus a negative 2. Or y minus 2 equals 1/2 times x plus 2. And then we can distribute. So 1/2 x plus 1 and add 2 to both sides. So this would go on that line. Other questions on this page? I'll give you like 5 minutes, get your papers together. I'm going to designate 2 areas for them, so put as many of your papers at that back table and on this back shelf, and then we'll find other places for them to go.